Hello everybody, Steven here with you again. So today we're going to continue the assembly. I believe this is part 2. So let's go ahead, open SolidWorks. We're going to open the model. Let's go ahead, open the model. So one thing to note is you've just put your columns, your floors, you've put into your base plate, but one thing that you didn't do is your base plate doesn't have the holes for these columns. What do I mean by that? So if we were to go to evaluate on the ribbon, we go to interference detection. This will actually check if there's any interferences between any of the components in the model. We're going to click calculate on the top left, and that noise is letting us know that there isn't interference. This right here on the left is telling us there's 4 interferences, the sizes and everything's the same. This is because if you were to look as you're clicking on these, you look on the model, you're going to see these red highlights. This is letting us know that the columns are actually penetrating the plate, the base plate, but because there is no cut, it's penetrating and there's an interference. So we got to fix that now. So that's what we're going to do in this video. What are we going to do? We're going to press Control 6, or you can go up here on the ribbon to the view orientation. You can click this one. This is going to give you the bottom view, and there's a shortcut right there, Control 6. So we're going to press Control 6 for sake. What we're going to do, let's go ahead and click Sketch. We're going to click the base plate, the face of the base plate. Right click this icon right here. Click Sketch. We're going to sketch. What we want to do is we want is the locations of the columns. So one trick we can do is we're actually going to use this function up here on the ribbon called convert entities, and convert entities will basically whatever you select within the model, say it's on a different plane, but you want those lines to appear on the sketch plane, you can select them and it will transpose them for you. That'll make more sense as we go along, but right now let's go ahead. We want to select the inside of, let's just go ahead and do convert entities, and we want to select the inside of each column. So let's go ahead and select. I'm holding Control. Oh no, let's take that back. I don't want that. I want the inside. You want to, for this case, you want to be selecting the center of it, the face of the column. It's going to make things a lot easier later on. So let's go ahead and select the face. All right, now let's hold Control so we can select the edge of the base plate. Let's go ahead and select the edge of the base plate. There it is. Everything you want, the 4 faces of each column and the edge of the base plate. The reason the edge of the base plate is because you're going to need a reference point. So now we're going to select cover entities, and guess what? Everything's right here on our sketch. I'm going to press Control 6 quickly. And we're currently in the sketch mode. How do I know that? If I were to go all the way to the left, scroll down, this little traffic signals, and letting us know that we're in sketch. How can you confirm that? Well, guess what? I'm gonna press right click and actually have the option for the display grid. So you might be used to this right here. So see, we're in sketch just to show you. I'll leave it like that for now. What I want to do now is I'm gonna select everything in this sketch, and I'm gonna copy it. This right here is letting me know that I've selected everything, and I literally did. By the way I selected everything, I kind of just anything within that window was selected. So I selected the model itself, all the columns and the floors. But because I don't want all that, well, that's what it's asking. You want to continue because it can't copy everything. What it can copy is the model and the columns, which is okay. I don't need that. I just want the lines on my sketch. So that's what it's going to continue with copying, only what it could, being the lines. So let's go and press continue copy. So we've copied everything. It's attached to our clipboard. So now what we want to do is we're going to have to go to, we can close this. It's attached, saved to our clipboard. We can close this. We don't have to save necessarily. So let's go ahead and open our base plate. Let's go ahead and open the base plate. Same thing, base plate. You see the holes right there. So I'm going to press Control 6, go to the bottom. I want to select, I want to do a sketch. So now let's go ahead and paste everything. I'm going to press Control V because it was attached to our clipboard. We're going to have to paste it. Now I want to move everything again, so let's go ahead and highlight everything. Move. I'm gonna select, since it's selecting everything as one, we're gonna click this top left, move it over the origin. There it is. It's all right there. So let's go ahead and delete that. Delete that because those lines aren't there no more. Okay, Control 6. So now I want to select the inside of this line. So okay, you've attached everything. You can literally in essence cut everything, but the thing is, if we were to look over here on the bottom right, everything's underdefined. So we just pasted everything, but SolidWorks doesn't recognize where everything is in the in this coordinate. It's not referencing any coordinates because there's no measurements. So how do we fix that? We need to change this from underdefined to fully defined. So we're gonna go and select the inside of this. So everything, it's picking up every line. So I'm gonna click equal. This is gonna help us define everything. So everything in here is equal, meaning they're all the same length. We can just go ahead and, you know what, let's just select all of these lines. These are all gonna be the same length. So I'm holding control and I'm selecting all this, and I'm just gonna click equal, equal. There. Now they are all the same length. Like this is 0.2, 0.2, 0.2, 0.2. So how do we go from underdefined to fully defined? Start defining things. So this is a square, right? So it needs to recognize where this is. So we're gonna have to define this point and this point, this point, and this point. So we're gonna select this corner, define it in the x direction. Now I gotta do that corner, define it in the x direction. Same thing over here. Define it in the x direction. In the y. Now in the x. And there it is. And now we have to select one of these and give it the dimension of 0.2. And there it is. This square is not fully defined. Sadly enough, it's not, and the whole model isn't underdefined. It's still underdefined because we have to do all three. So you can just, I'm gonna keep doing this, defining these rest of these three. You can just play the video along with me. But if you've already done this and you're just double checking something, you're gonna have to want to fast forward because it's gonna take a second real quick. So I'm gonna get started right now. Same thing. Define the left corner in the x. Let's define this in the y. Oops. Smart dimension. Define this in the y. Same thing over here. Define this in the y. Define this in the x. What's the distance of this? The measurement of this is 0.2. Look, everything. Why isn't it? Oh, I select the same thing. That's fine. There it is. See, this gets really pretty redundant, so it's alright, whatever. Oops. Oops. Okay, let's go ahead and define this point. That and the y. Define it in the x. That's kind of silly. I don't know why I did that, but alright, it works. It's still defined. It's a straight line. X and the y. Define this in the x. And I'll do this one in the x. Oh, I guess not in the y. There it is. So now if we go to the bottom right, everything's fully defined. Cool. Now we can go to features. Now we can make those cuts. So I'm going to do extrude cut. The depth of this base plate is 0.375. I did 0.375 because I believe the dimensions of the rows I was asking for a base plate to be within 0.3 and 0.4. I would double check that. Rows change every year. So I believe we selected 3/8 inch plywood, and I did that because 3/8 is 0.375. And then just a heads of advice, I would still double check all the plywood with a caliper just in case, because sometimes things aren't always cut correctly in the mill. So, alright, now we have to select where we want to cut. We're going to select the inside of each little square. There it is, 0.375. Okay. And there it is. There are our cuts. If we press Control 7, we can see it. Control S to save everything, and there it is. Since it's saved to the file, we can just go open the model, and if we open the model, it may or may not pop up. So what we do is we rebuild it by pressing this little traffic signal on top, and it might have updated, it might have not. But just in case, we just press it, and we can double check that since we press rebuild and press now we can go to evaluate over here, do interference detection, and we can double check that the holes come out. And as we can see, no interferences. That means the holes did come up in the base plate and it was saved. And well, there it is. That's how we mark the holes for the base plate. Alright, in the next video I'm gonna put together the columns. Alright, that's it for this video. For the next one, I'm gonna put the braces for the model. So let's go ahead and see you in the next video.